Let's talk about personal development, shall we? You see, I personally did 5 years of this. Courses, high, best of the best. And I did learn that I should be more comprehensive, forgiving, friendly, even disciplined, focused, and productive. But frequently, what I got was that I could only manage to do that sometimes. It was a struggle, it was a constant challenge. And over the years, I tried because many diets, because a lot of doctors online are saying, oh, try this will change your life, and try that. And so I tried keto and vegan and macrobiotic and this and that and the others, and plant paradox, so many others. And when I got to plant paradox, I was like, man, it's way easier to get here. But still, I struggled sometimes. And that's when I found the carnivore diet. Suddenly, being like this became automatic. So what do I eat to be like this automatically? Very simple. Meat, salt, and water. But not any type of meat. You see, it should be fatty meat. Because we don't need only protein, we need fat for hormone production. We need water. These are the three essential macronutrients for our body. You see, carbs, carbohydrates are non-essential. Not that they will not help you in physical endeavors, in athletic performance, if you're consuming during training, for example, 10 grams per hour, as some evidence is apparently coming out later this year to say so. But as well-being is concerned, you will be better off just sticking with this and not messing with carbs, because carbs coming from plants have always the risk of messing up with this, of making this your reality. But you don't want to go from this to there, you want from this to here. You want it to be automatic. So, fatty meat. But let's imagine you go out to a restaurant and the meat is lean. Perfectly fine. Just add some 100% butter. You see, some butters have some lactic ferments or whatever. Just buy one that is just pure and with some salt, or without it, doesn't really matter, as long as it's animal butter and not some pseudo wreck that will wreck your health. So this is pretty simple. So what about how much fat should you be consuming? You see, there are all these numbers online and whatever, and they will confuse you, because some will talk about calories. What are calories anyway? Some will talk about, what do they call it? Macros or whatever. It's not macros, ratios, and it's all a mess. And let's simplify it to kids' terms. A lion will do 15 to 30% fat by volume. What does this mean? That from around 10 to 40% of what you see in front of you should be fat when you're about to eat. Whether you have some chicken with some butter, I mean, in terms of volumes, if you have this of chicken, you should have this of fat. For example, skin or some butter, or if you have a ribeye, it will be already 10%. So it will be around the minimum of fat that you should be consuming per meal. But every case is a case, since some people are slimmer and others have fat to burn. So this is a guideline, but what's most important is that instead of just thinking about this, you be instinctive. The same with this. You should eat until satisfied, not until you're full, because If we're trying to get full, we might as well be 2 hours in the table. So what kind of meats? You can eat all sorts of meats, just like I mentioned, chicken, you can eat pork, whatever. You can even eat fish from time to time, no problem. But mostly, like the base should be ruminant. And why fresh ruminants? You see, when you consume aged meats, it has a higher histamine content. And many people, just like what happened to myself, will have heart palpitations and many other issues and feel not so great because their bodies are not healthy enough to deal with a higher content of histamine. That's why I recommend fresh. And so why ruminants? You see, ruminants have a rumen, which means they filter out very well whatever they eat. So even if they're grain fed, they'll be very pure in terms of their flesh, what you'll be eating. As compared to chicken or pork, whatever they eat goes to their flesh. So if they are fed antibiotics, if they are fed soy and corn, which they are, it will go straight to their tissues. So make sure you just eat it at the most like a little bit per day, or not even every single day. What else do you need? Big. You need big fat, you need big protein, you need big water. So when I say big water, it means 2/3. When I say big, it's compared to salt. Salt you just need a little bit. But water you might need a couple of glasses. And big just means that it's a bigger portion. It doesn't mean you gotta stuff yourself and drink 2 liters per day. Your body knows instinctively what is best for you. So these theories are, well, you should eat this, you should eat that is completely useless, because results speak for themselves. Words are mere theories, as testimonials are actual reality. So if you see online a whole bunch of people who are doing, for example, raw vegan, you might find some people who are like 35 years old and they look like 45 or 50 with gray hair, and just check for yourself. And you might see people on the carnivore diet, which is the name of this, with the exception in carnivore, they allow you to eat copious amounts of dairy and copious amounts of eggs. And I would not recommend, because actually a lot of people actually have intolerance to dairy and eggs. And so you just need these three: meat, fat, either within the meat or outside the meat. You need water and you need salt. Why do you need salt? If you eat nose to tail and drink the blood of an animal, for example, you kill goat, some cow, some deer, some elk, some bison, for sure you'll get enough sodium. But since you're probably eating just steaks and maybe just a little bit of organs, and you're probably healing because you've done not so great diets in the past, you should eat salt. But you might be worried, oh, but I might be consuming too much salt. For example, fat, if you eat too much, it just goes out the back door. Don't worry about it. You will not absorb too much fat, because unless you're taking bile supplements, your bile will only allow your body to consume and absorb as much fat as it feels it's ideal. What about salt? If you eat too much, you start to feel an headache, and if you push it, you will start to feel even more an headache. So you'll know when too much is too much. So you'll be eating and okay, plenty. But know that meat already has some sodium. So salt, but don't abuse it. Unless you know you won't get an headache with copious amounts. Some people do well with very big amounts. Water, I recommend purified water through osmosis, but do whatever you feel and works for you. This is a guideline. But just like I said, testimonials are reality. I base this on most testimonies and the fact that a lot of people are sensitive to dairy and eggs. And many people who cannot touch cow's cheese will do perfectly fine with butter. And I'm talking IgG food sensitivity test, where you can measure for sure if you have antibodies to those or not. I know people who have 60 plus within like a 200 food items test, they have like 60 which are triggering them with all these cheeses and milk and whatever, and they are perfectly fine with butter, and they are perfectly fine with meat, and they are perfectly fine with most fish. So it goes to show you something. And it's very common to see broccoli as a red flag, cauliflower as a red flag, carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, a whole bunch of fruits. It tells you what is harming and what is nurturing your body. But these are all theories, these are all words. What matters is the results. And unless you go check a whole bunch of people who are trying this out, and the most purified version of this is called the Lion Diet. It's not the Lion's Diet, it's the Lion Diet, because it's not what a lion eats, it's just inspired. And this is just basically this, but instead of mostly, it's just ruminant meats, and it doesn't have the butter. So this is like a middle term between the Lion Diet and the Carnivore Diet. So you will see there are plenty of testimonies, people who put so many problems into remissions, like bipolar, like mood disorders, like obsession, like schizophrenia, so many others, completely into remission. Like arthritis, like swelling, your tummy being all swollen up, all this gas, very great gas, all these digestive issues, all these intestinal issues, completely gone into remission with this type of diet. A lot of people just do carnivore, but this is the Champions League, this is the best of the best. Whatever issue you might have, this will fix it for sure. There is nothing better on the planet. You write this on Google, you open up the main website, and you see testimonials, you see recipes, you see videos. Yeah, this is amazing. So instead of just following these doctors' advice and these studies who are paid by interested individuals and organizations, just trust what you see in front of you. When doing vegan for a couple of years, I lost health tremendously. My father, doing a mostly vegetarian diet, who was very healthy until a very late age, lost health significantly doing like 2 or 3 years of mostly vegetarian. My cousin barely died doing a an actual completely vegan diet. A guy who looked like 35 at 45, and now within like 2 years he looks like 60. Why? Vegan. My mother, who's been eating high carb diet, lost tremendous health within a very short amount of time. So I know from personal experience and seeing people around me, people who were doing Mediterranean diets all their life, and then which is considered very healthy, and they're suddenly going vegan or vegetarian and they lose tremendous health. And people who have gone from Mediterranean, who is already considered the best or one of the best, and they go to carnivore and they go from this to this. So instead of following words, follow what you see in front of your eyes. It's the only reality. And so as a conclusion of the day, I have a little trick with words. You see, I consider personal development great, but as a symbol, it's just zeros. useless by itself. You see, zeros are nothing. And I consider diet incredibly useful, and I consider it to be 1. So together you can get 10, 100, 10,000. It depends on how much personal development you make. It equals to zeros. But unless you have diet as the 1, you get nothing. But if you have the diet as the 1, you get 10, 100, 1,000. You get the idea. In terms of results, in terms of achieving your goals, achieving your dreams. So if you enjoyed this video or it helped you somehow, please leave a like. It certainly helps me. You know somebody who can benefit from this? Send them the link. This is sure useful for many millions of people, and you might know a couple of them. What else? I have plenty of videos just like this on my YouTube channel and plenty more to come. I post out about body, sometimes around mind, and even some about home. So if you hit that subscribe button, you'll be the first one to get those. Thanks.